Working. Hello, everyone. This is Justin. I am broadcasting live from Bunker Hill. And it's not the Bunker Hill you may have heard in history. This is Bunker Hill, Kansas. And I'm at the cemetery in Bunker Hill because I have started my first leg of the Run for the Wall, which is a motorcycle ride that hundreds of motorcycle riders uh, who are riding from the west coast of the United States. They started in California and they're all riding across the country, and they end up in Washington, D.C. at the Lincoln Memorial and the Vietnam Veterans Memorial next Friday is when we get to DC. And earlier today, they stopped in Oakley, Kansas, which is my hometown. And the Oakley VFW served them lunch. They also had brought this traveling memorial exhibit called what's the name of that? The Gold Stars Tribute Wall, which has the names of all 7,200 service members in the that lost their lives in the Gulf, Afghanistan, and Iraq wars. And so anyway, that display was in Oakley the last few days, and the riders that came all the way from California stopped in Oakley for lunch, and they had a little ceremony. It was really cool. And so a few days ago, I thought, this sounds really fun. Once I really learned what the Run for the Wall is, it's not like a Sturgis just biker dude celebration. It's a bunch of bikers who are riding for those who can't, right? So these guys, and men and women, lots of women on the ride as well, are trying to bring awareness to POWs and MIAs to make sure that they're all accounted for. And it's also kind of a time to have fellowship and camaraderie and, I guess you might say work through trauma, work through the difficulties that people who have come home from war and have lost a loved one have experienced, been there, like held someone in your arms that died, those sorts of things, or just, a family member that, some of the people that are writing never went to war, but they've got a family member that died, and they want to make sure that they honor that memory. And so I thought, you know what, I can, I can take my work on the road, and I'd like to join them. I don't have a motorcycle, though. The last time I rode a motorcycle was in pilot training, and after a rainstorm, it was sort of slick, and it slid out from under me. And I thought after that, you know what? I just don't think I'm a good motorcycle rider. So that experiment ended in me selling the bike, and I haven't ridden a motorcycle since pilot training. And so I found out that you don't have to ride a bike if you want to join this ride. You can just sign up, and you can drive your car, and you can go on one stop or two stops. You can go rtfw.org explains everything about the ride. It shows all of the stops. There's like a northern route, a central route, which is the route that came through I-70 and stopped in Oakley, Kansas. And there's a southern route. And then they all converge in DC. And then this year is really cool. They have this thing called the sandbox route that happens after they get to DC. The next day, or maybe 2 days later, they sort of hook left and they turn around, and they're going to the memorial in Shanksville, Pennsylvania. And then there's a couple other stops. But Shanksville is where Flight 93 crashed on September 11th, saving countless lives from their intended target because of the passengers of that crew. And so the riders are also honoring the sacrifice of those passengers and the pilots and the crew who, they accomplished the mission of, what normally is the U.S. military protecting American lives. And so I think it's really awesome that they are adding that to their stop. And so since I didn't have a motorcycle, I was going to drive my car, and it sprung an oil leak yesterday. So my dad loaned me his car, and I'm pulling the most patriotic fish trailer in the world. I have a trailer that we made for Burning Man about 7 or 8 years ago, and we painted it, and it looks like a fish, and it's one of the favorite things I've ever done. And anyway, I thought, well, this thing needs to get back out on the road. And so I can't go as fast as the motorcycle riders. I can only go about 60, 65. It just ruins my tires if I go faster than that. So I'm going to sort of be puttering along behind the riders. I'm meeting them in Junction City, Kansas tonight, and then we're making multiple stops You know, we stop, they stop for lunch. It's really cool. All of these towns along the way, they buy the riders lunch, they pay for their gas. You know, they have support from people all across the country. And I just thought it seems like something that I would want to be part of. And so, this is how I'm doing it. And people at home were like, you got to tell us about it, take pictures along the way. And so I thought, okay, well, I just figured out how to use this thing called Restream and go live on all of my channels with my phone. And so I thought, okay, I'm going to do that. And I wanted to say my favorite social media platform is TikTok. But I can't go live on TikTok until I have 1,000 followers. So if I don't know if I'll ever have 1,000 followers, but if you're a TikTok person and you want, and if you'd follow me on TikTok, my handle on TikTok is Cartoon Dogs with a Z, Cartoon DOGZ. And if I get 1,000 followers on there, then I can add that, and then I can be live on TikTok. And so anyway, this is what my ride looks like. I'm gonna be out there, and I also guess I want to say I was thinking, you know, I'm riding for four people, three people. I guess it's run for the wall. So my run is in honor of 4 people, 3 of whom I never met, and 1 that I did. And so the first one is Jim Hesket. Paul Hesket is a radio personality in Colby, Kansas. He lives in Oakley, but everybody in Western Kansas knows him. He's kind of the Casey Kasem for our part of the world. Been on the radio my entire life, and his brother Jim died in the war in Vietnam, and so I'm going to go try and find his name on the wall. And Paul's just a great patriot, and so I wanted to do that and see his name. And then PYRO DuBois is a fighter pilot, William PYRO DuBois. His name is on the Gold Stars tribute wall that came through Oakley. And I met his family last year. They do an annual run to honor their son. And he was a pilot that died in Afghanistan, an F-16 pilot, actually served under the command of one of my best friends, Matt Ayers, who is an Air Force fighter pilot as well. And so I'm also running for PYRO, and I am running for Trenton Rhea. So Trenton, I never met Trenton, but his father, Marshall, is the president of the VFW Auxiliary in Oakley, Kansas. And he was the whole reason that the Gold Stars tribute wall, he sort of coordinated everything to get them to come to Oakley, and just a great patriot. And I wish I would have known his son. He just seems like he was a great guy as well. He lost his life. He was an Army MP, and he died in Afghanistan as well. And then the last person that I'm running for is my friend Wally Fey. And Wally was just the best. He graduated from the Air Force Academy about 30 years before I did. He was a fellow Fighting Fourth Squadron. At the Air Force Academy, you have all these squadrons. You're separated into 40 groups in your class. And so he was also a Fighting Fourth graduate of the Air Force Academy, and he flew F-4s in Vietnam. And then he got out of the service and became an attorney. And he was one of my best friends from Burning Man. Like I just loved going to Burning Man with him and his wife, Rachel. And so Wally passed away from cancer in December of last year. And we just had a memorial service for him a couple of months ago. And so those are who I am personally honoring, are those 4 people. And so I'm just excited about the road trip, and I hook up with the other riders tonight. They're in Junction City, Kansas, and so what I'll do is I'll just hook up with them there. And if you see this video on TikTok, it's because I'm going to see if it'll let me download it, and then I'll upload it to TikTok, and maybe I can get some, people can watch me there, which would be super cool. But anyway, it doesn't even matter if nobody sees it. It's just something that I thought I would do. I'd like to get to know a lot of these other riders. If you go to rtfw.org, you can donate to their organization. You can also see these videos of some of the platoon commanders that are like leading the different groups of motorcycles, and hear their stories and why they're doing it. And it's just something that after I've been out of the service for 10 or 12 years, it's something I'm just enjoying. I've really enjoyed getting to know Marshall Ray and Brian Wolf and some of the other VFW members in my hometown that I hadn't really been connected to until, you know, this last year, and just really enjoy hearing their stories and hearing the stories of their family members that served. And so I wanted to, you know, just go find more stories like that. And so just, you know, talk to people and hear about, you know, the sacrifices that people have made for this country. And so I'll be out there, and so for everybody that said you want pictures, this is it. I figure if I'll just like turn on my camera or turn on my phone and share the experience of something that is pretty unique, and I'm really looking forward to it. So anyway, that's it. I will see you all out on the road. And I'll see you at the Vietnam Veterans Memorial. They're having a ceremony, I think, on Saturday. I think the ceremony is on Saturday, and then they go to Arlington National Cemetery. Not sure the exact schedule once we get to DC, but that should be really fun too. So I will see you all later, and wish me luck puttering along behind the motorcycle riders.